Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Wednesday morning, September 30th. It is the end of Jumanji Level 9. Matthew, did you think we'd make it this far in the game?
No, I certainly didn't.
You thought you'd have to put in more quarters?
Yeah, more quarters, go to the change machine and get, put the dollar in the change machine, get more quarters or tokens as they be. I mean, there was a coin shortage for a while, so I thought I was just going to have to play with tokens.
Oh, don't let the stores and grocery stores and everybody else fool you. There's not a coin shortage. Everybody's freaking out thinking it was the end of the world, and all the coins are at your house. Literally, Matthew, I'm going to reach over here. Do you hear this? That's my kid's bag of coins. I mean, they're toys to them.
That's why there's a coin shortage, because of you.
Honestly, that bag is probably about $15. They just play. I mean, that's how they're learning their counting. I let them count quarters and dimes and nickels and pennies, and it's probably ripe with disease. Who knows? Good morning, folks. Welcome to PWR today as we talk about disease and money. We had a big TV show last night, and we're not going to get too big into it, but did that not to you feel like it was booked as a major pay-per-view event? You know what I'm talking about, right? It was a battle of the billionaires. Well, actually, one of the billionaires was on it, and then Sleepy Joe.
Shh. Go away. Baiting. Go away. Baiting.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously though.
The debate. That's what I meant. I was, busy watching the debate, so you don't, bother me, man.
But seriously though, didn't that feel like it was billed like a pay-per-view?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's
tonight in a steel cage.
Kayfabe is alive and well.
Yeah. Folks, we don't kayfabe when we talk about our sponsors. It's manscaped.com. Linda pointed out a good thing Monday morning. The Big Show probably is a manscaped.com guy too, because that beard is gone. And It's all gone. So
I actually did some grooming work this past weekend on my, you guys have your little fantasy draft and everything, but as we've discussed in previous programs, I've got a fantasy giraffe, and the Manscaped, paraphernalia works great for grooming fantasy giraffes as well.
Yeah. Jeffrey the giraffe. That's why Toys R Us is out of business, because he came in there, all over the place. Get on over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code PWR. Get yourself 20% off, free shipping. I love the toiletry bag. I love the boxers, the ball powder. I mean, you got to have some ball talc, just to make sure. I mean, because guys, when you get to that age of 40 and, you got to take your flowers to the, not the proctologist, but your family care physician, and she's got to go in there. Make sure you bring some flowers, but more importantly, make sure you use some ball powder on it. So when she gets downstairs, it doesn't smell like a swamp. You know what I'm saying? Well, Manscaped.com.
That's excellent. I'm sure your doctor appreciates your pre-production work there.
Yeah, but she doesn't ever make eye contact when we do that either. It's weird. Manscaped.com and get that promo code PWR and get yourself 20% off. And then our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com, and Matthew, I'll come back to you in a second. Collarandelbowbrand.com, the animal shirt flying off the shelves. I know that David just said that he was heading down to good old St. Louis to put to rest a really good guy. Joe Laurinaitis, Animal, had actually passed away last week. So that animal shirt, 100% of the proceeds go to his family to help them out in their time of need. I know they're flying, like I said, flying off the shelves. Collarandelbowbrand.com, the promo code PWR360 gets you 10% off. Now, you were saying, Matthew.
Well, speaking of going to, your doctor and getting your testicles inspected, I do have a dentist appointment tomorrow. Oh,
what? Hey, now. And that guy doesn't care at all, right?
Yeah, it's the most thorough dentist examination I've ever had. The guy's great.
Yeah, and he knows that you use Manscaped and that you use Collar and Elbow, because it's all over your T-shirt. So.
Yep. I'll be rocking both brands tomorrow.
Let's talk a little quick news here. Matt Cordona, AEW, right? The former Zack Ryder, woo, you know it. Did you realize that his deal was only up until All Out? He is currently not signed, and said he would love to come back and do some more work, not just come sell some T-shirts. But Matt Cordona, what do you think? Is there a place for him? They got a pretty stacked roster right now.
That's a freaking short deal. My goodness, I didn't know anybody was, doing those short of shots.
But it worked. Got a paycheck. Came in and helped out his buddy Cody, and that's where we're at.
Yeah. So any room for him as in AEW or as in circling back around to the WWE?
As an AEW, because I don't think there's anything WWE.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely, and that was news to me as well too. I think there's definitely interest. I mean, I unfortunately don't feel like they really did anything with him. It was a quick shot. He was there for for the roads and whatnot.
3 matches, really.
Yeah, but my goodness, I want to see, some outside of WWE development with with him.
Yeah. So big fan of him. Would love to see him come back. One other big story that's kind of popping on the internet right now. I know Dave Hero is going to be disappointed to hear, and we didn't even talk about it or to think about it, but where was Raw Underground Monday night?
Apparently not on our side. Maybe it's somewhere buried on the network.
Maybe it was literally underground to the point where we didn't see it because it got buried. See what we did there?
Yeah.
Raw Underground segment was removed from Raw due to the COVID outbreak that has been going on in WWE. Let's make this real clear. I'm going to pick up my mic here and bring it a little bit closer. Can you hear me, Matthew?
Oh, I can hear you even better now.
Can you hear me even better?
You just went from the outer perimeter of my ear to further deeper inside of my ear.
I'm deep inside you. Listen here, WWE. I'm not a guy that's going to point this out, but you know what? I'm going to point this out. What the hell did you think was going to fucking happen when you have a room full of people and nobody's wearing a goddamn mask? I'm not a mask person by any means. Please get that clear. But it seems that it's do as I say, not as I do. And it's spreading amongst your talent because you are sloppy. Rant over.
I like that news. That's my new favorite segment of the show. We need to make that a continual, segment here. I really like that.
Do we have a name for it?
Meathead in your ear.
Meathead goes inside you.
That's it.
Your thoughts on the COVID-19 outbreak and Raw Underground specifically, because again, there was nobody that, I can't even. Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, no, it is very kind of cause and effect. That is where the bulk of it is at. That is probably the most non-COVID adherence friendly aspect of the whole show. Here's the thing. You've got this room that's quote unquote underground with everybody huddled around each other. And that's where it, where it seems like it happens. It's interesting that they have that correlation.
The next thing that's going to happen is in the pro sports. And the pro sports have been pretty good so far. Football is going to be the most susceptible to it because you've got a normal roster of 53, not including sideline staff and people that are on IR, things like that. Head coaches that barely keep their masks on except for when the TV comes on. John Gruden said he's been fined over $100,000 because he hasn't had his mask on. What the fuck do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
Come on.
And here's the thing, I'm glad you feel good about whatever statement you're making, but that's $100,000 fucking dollars. At what point are you an outright dumbass? That's $100,000. And not even talking about the health implications of this. I'm glad that's the hill that you hopefully not literally pick to die on. Yeah. Right. Take some more of my money. Yeah. You proved the point. Good boy.
I'm not sure it was intentional. I know because Gruden had it. I'm not sure it's intentional, but honestly, again, I'm not you don't even want to know how far I'm not a mask person.
Right.
However, where it's required.
Right.
Okay. So let's move on. Now that we've got that going, we've got AEW, and AEW, at the very least, they move around pretty freely too. Let's be completely honest. They've got the talent at the side of the ring. But it's possible that they're checking them. I don't know what their protocols are, how often they're checking them, but that's what the colored bracelets are for, the bandages. And they're very clear on what happens on their shows. Look what happened last week when Lance Archer was not in a 6-man tag because he believes he had been exposed. So he self-quarantined. Hey, folks, Lance Archer is not going to be here tonight. We believe he might have been in contact with someone and is self-quarantining. So here we're going to change it up. Don't lie to me. Don't just blow it off. Tell me the truth. Yeah. Look at what happened at Clash of Champions. Bayley, who had a championship match, by the way, wink, wink, had a championship match with Asuka because Nikki Cross had been exposed. Where was the women's tag team match? They had been exposed. I don't know if it's the Riot Squad or if it was Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, but they had been exposed. So don't lie to me. Don't tell me due to not medically cleared. Just say it. Just say it. We already know there's issues because where was Retribution? I mean, they're not retributing against SmackDown because now they have Raw contracts, but they were nowhere to be found on Monday because, wink, wink, they might have been exposed.
So let's go back to this. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure that it does. Does COVID exist in universe in the WWE right now?
COVID has not been acknowledged. Here's the thing. COVID has not been acknowledged, but Retribution, before they showed up, had a page on the website.
Yeah. So, let's take a little field trip and just go completely kayfabe. And, okay, WWE over the past, since March, they have chosen to go inside of an arena, full of, first of all, no people, then a few hand-picked Performance Center people, then into this this venue with all of these TV
Meathead's about
screens.
to go in your ear again. Are you ready?
Thunderdome.
Yeah, into the Thunderdome. So if we are to suspend our disbelief, we go all in universe. Why any of this has happened has not been explained.
Maybe the people that have COVID are driving the Black Hummer. I'm just saying. I mean, because that thing was never resolved in WCW technically.
So
even though, yes, it was Eric Bischoff.
Let's go like 20, 30, 40 years down the road. WWE is still going strong. They've still got everything on the WWE network. And you get a generation of kids that, don't pay too much attention to history. They just completely submerge themselves in binging the WWE. Think about when they get to that period in March through now, like just the confusion of, wait a minute, why did this happen? It's really interesting when you just put yourself completely in the WWE bubble and look at this time frame of this pretty much unacknowledged disease.
Yep. But when President Meathead opens up his library at that point, maybe we'll have to teach the kids. I mean, I don't know. We digress. Let's talk a little bit about AEW coming up tonight, all right? AEW has got a really cool main event tonight. Jon Moxley will have to take on an opponent of Eddie Kingston's choosing. Now, I loved what they did last week. Remember, we just said that Lance Archer couldn't make it. He believes he had been exposed. So here's what we're going to do. Eddie Kingston is going to get a title shot tonight. Eddie Kingston comes out and cuts a killer promo. Hard cameraman, stay right here. I'm going to talk to you people and all these morons here. You know why I got a title shot? Because I never got eliminated from the Casino Battle Royal. Okay, that makes sense. He had been talking about it. Cool. We're going to give him a title shot. Makes absolute sense. Technically, he got counted out in the ring because he was unresponsive, after Jon Moxley beat him up so bad that he was knocked out. So he feels that he hasn't lost that one either. A little bit of a stretch of the imagination, but now tonight, Eddie Kingston gets to pick an opponent for Jon Moxley while we wait for the Lance Archer thing to kind of come back around again for Jon Moxley. Yeah. I think it's absolutely brilliant storytelling.
No, I like it, and I like, like we talked about a little bit last week, like Roman got this past week, if you're going to have kind of these placeholder matches, use it to elevate somebody way up the card. Don't give me another Sheamus in a title match, and I pick that as an example because that is the quintessential, okay, this person's pretty credible, but they're really not going to swap the title here. And so it's just this place holding thing that you don't have much interest in. Give me something to watch.
Give me the Jey Uso, because he was amazing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the outcome beforehand, but it is something about seeing someone in that opportunity, in that spotlight, that is must-see TV that it is not otherwise when you have a place-holding match. And that's what they're doing here. And that is, it's the way that you make new talent. You have them rub elbows with these people in these high-profile matches. The rub, exactly. And
I mean, look at what happened with Jinder a couple of years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God. Yep. Jinder just won a number one contenders match. Oh, my God. He just won the belt? After Jinder had just gotten beat the night before on Raw, that Tuesday he won a number one contenders match, and then that following week he became the champion.
Yeah.
Holy shua.
Yep. No, it makes a huge difference. And you don't, Jinder, he's got that. Whenever we see him again, he's got that added layer of credibility. And he's been there once, so he can kind of always be in that picture now to a certain extent. Miz is somebody else who's a great example. He hasn't been in major title contention in how long, but you remember that Miz run from WrestleMania, that 2011 or so WrestleMania run.
He beat The Rock at WrestleMania. Yeah, and John Cena.
The whole 9 yards. So I mean, it a little bit goes a long way.
Sure does. Also, we got the return of Cody last week. Cody's back in black, and Cody is looking to get his TNT Championship back. As fun as it was to watch Brody Lee get upset, Mr. Brody Lee, there's something that it doesn't work for me with him yelling. If you're supposed to be this cult leader, you're talking about somebody that just took. I mean, excuse me, he's not a cult, and then the Dark Order is what they are, but it's just you're acting like you're trying to be the champion. But I mean, I just don't buy it. I like Brody Lee, and I think he's amazing talent. I think he really is a great wrestler. But that promo was weird to me.
Well, you got to keep in mind, too, man, it's coming to the end of, we're at the beginning of fall now. A lot of the side jobs that he gets with his lawn care company is coming to an end, man. So the guy's got a lot on his plate.
Do you think those guys are like gypsies and they travel the world, following the weather so they can keep cutting grass?
Yeah, well, they are in Florida now, man. So, I guess they've still got quite a bit of work for them.
FTR is going to have a tag team match tonight against SCU. So the battle of the acronyms, only 20-minute time limit.
Yeah. I hope nobody wins with a TKO.
That's right. Hey, I got to ask you this. Darby Allin's taking on Ricky Starks. Do you think it's too early yet?
No, give it to me. Like I'm ready for it.
Okay. Because I think there's something there that, you can build on these guys. But Chris Jericho is going to take on Isaiah Cassidy, challenge the Demo God.
Yeah, no, let's see it. It's they continue to do a job of keeping the matchups interesting each week.
Speaking of interesting, again, we saw a new layer, a new bit of juice squeezed out of him. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy is going to go one-on-one with the Dark Order's number 10.
Yeah, I have a hard time keeping the Dark Order straight. It's number 10. Which one is that? The guy between 9 and 11. So
yes,
it's going to be more of a showcase for Orange Cassidy. The only thing with that is, man, where do you go with Cassidy now? he was up at the top of that cart with Jericho. So what does the next progression look like? And at what point does maybe any of AEW's roster size start to give us a little bit of repetition? The thing of it is, there's a lot of people on Dark, which I don't consistently watch, but there's a lot of people on Dark that we never see on the main roster. So as long as you start kind of sprinkling that main roster, with some of that talent you don't see, I think it's time. I think you need to, keep it fresh. No pun intended.
Freshly squeezed. Pun intended, of course. You know damn well you intended that. NXT Takeover 31 is happening this Saturday, with the main event being Finn Balor sprinkling in somebody fresh, Kyle O'Reilly with a title shot at the NXT Championship. I wondered, because this is no slight on Kyle O'Reilly at all, but we always had Adam Cole. We always had Roderick Strong around the North American. We had the tag team champions of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. And I always recognized Bobby Fish because of the mustache, but Kyle O'Reilly seemed to be playing. He's not anymore. He literally is getting a title shot this Saturday night.
Yeah, I think he's very well deserving of it, and it's a new matchup that I'm looking forward to seeing.
A lot more great matches going to happen this Saturday, including, like I said, the North American Championship, Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano, Mr. Wrestling, Mr. Takeover, plus the Women's Championship, Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. I mentioned those two together because Johnny and wife, Candice, both getting title shots this Saturday night as well.
Absolutely. It's hard to believe it's time for another NXT takeover. But the way that these things have kind of been staggered.
I don't think it was time for it. I think they threw it together. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah. No, it's very possible. And like I said, it's been a crazy year, and it's kind of crazy to keep track of where we're at pay-per-view wise, because everything is done without a live audience, and it's wild because you don't have those normal bookmarks that you do to bookmark the year. Everything's different. Everything feels a little bit weird. I mean, it's strange that we're almost going into October. But you know what? It's some other new entertainment to watch this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to apologize to all our listeners. Obviously, on Monday morning, Linda Kay and I don't know if you heard the show, Matthew, but Linda Kay and I came in, did that Clash review, and said, I'm sorry, folks, but I got to go. The Packers and Saints are still on. What an amazing football game. Speaking of entertaining stuff on over and over, Green Bay Packers from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is Linda and myself, so we're huge Packer fans. 3-0. How's Denver Broncos doing? I believe the characters of South Park were at the game this last Sunday.
They were indeed. So they made it. The Denver Broncos have a very similar record to the Packers. They feature both of those same numbers that you just mentioned that the Packers have in their record.
Yeah, put in the opposite order, as far as I understand.
Yeah, but it's like when the lottery numbers come up, it doesn't matter what order they're in as long as the numbers are still there, and that's the case. So we have that in common.
Yeah. Well, okay. Folks, there's going to be big news popping off tomorrow night on the Super Show, as Damien calls it, with Damian and Greg Helms, Shane Helms, the Hurricane. There is a PWR draft update, not a PWR giraffe, but a PWR draft update. There was some controversy over the weekend. There was, again, I winked at it earlier. There was some talk that the Bayley-Asuka match was not a title match. It was. But there's more draft talk coming up as well. There may be a roster move as well. So make sure you're tuning on into the big show. Matthew, anything before we go home?
Yeah, and before we go off the air, I want to apologize to our listeners on Friday's show. I pretty much spoiled the last pay-per-view for them. We were doing our predictions, and I believe I picked all but one match correctly. I mean, it was quintessentially
the one you got wrong was the Randy Orton one, right? Randy and Drew.
but I think that they changed that at the last minute. I think anybody who was paying close attention, that was the they changed plans at the last minute. It was probably one.
So you're saying you picked Asuka over Bayley by disqualification?
Yeah, I got that one too. I mean, I knew it was going to be a good night when things started off with probably my biggest, boldest prediction with Sami Zayn walking away with the Intercontinental title. I was thinking about actually saying, okay, here's what's going to happen. Jeff Hardy's ear hole is going to be involved in the finish, but I'm like, I don't want to give him too much. So yeah, sorry to all you guys, and just if you're sensitive to spoilers, maybe you don't listen the Friday before Nostradamus makes his predictions.
Nostradamus, you must have been sitting a while today before we went on the air thinking about that one.
Hey man, when I sit on something for a while, good things happen.
Like eggs. So for Nostradamus, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.